of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, it's village board meeting to order. Roll call shows everybody's present. First public hearing we have is to rezone lot 1 at 118 North Nash Street from R1 residential to C1 general commercial. Is there anybody here to speak on this public hearing?
I'm here to answer any questions, but if anybody has a question.
Well, apparently nobody's got questions on it. So we will close that public hearing and open the one on the rezone multiple downtown parcels from R1 residential, C1 general commercial, and L1 light industrial to D downtown zoning district. And here to talk on.
Yeah, I'm Mark Pretzel. I recently purchased the 215 Main Street, the old Hawk Hardware Plumbing and Heating Building, and just want to verify, I was totally unaware of this situation until I received a letter that you were doing this. Just want to make sure there's no issues with me having my shop in the back building. And I also had started doing some basically improvements to the building. I want to make sure there's no issues with what I'm doing for improvements to the building.
I wouldn't think there would be.
Maybe I could just add a few comments. And then Mark, I think you came and got a copy of that.
I did, yeah.
The task force and ordinance that the board actually adopted. Basically what it does is it just puts a different sign restrictions. It doesn't change setbacks. It's not going to change uses, but what it does is it's just setting up a different sign regulation for the amount and size of signs. So Mr. Purcell did get a copy of that, and part of the task force was started over 2 years ago, and this is the conclusion of their efforts over the last 2 years.
So as long as you got the sign within your ordinance, you're okay.
Okay, well then, that's all I wanted. I just wanted to make sure there wasn't no issue. What I was using the building for and stuff like that, so. Okay, that's all I needed.
Doesn't appear there's anybody else here to talk on this rezone, so we will close that public hearing and go to new business. We've got resolution number R-12-18, CSM at 118 North Nash Street for Ryan and Julie A. Vandenhebel.
I'm just going to make a general question to all three of these. These have all been through planning and zoning, they've all been approved, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Yes. There was a cover, I call it, instead of a staff memo, request for consideration that you have before you. Basically what we have is a piece of property at 118 North Nash Street that's owned by Ryan and Julie Vandenhebel. I'm getting used to the little shoe pronunciation. Anyways, the request is to split it into 2 lots. The front half, the lot 1, will be proposed to be rezoned and sold to commercial. Lot 2 would be retained by Ryan and Julie and eventually added to their parcel that faces Main Street. Again, the Planning and Zoning Commission is recommending approval of the certified survey map. So there's 2 steps in this process, but before you right now on this agenda item is resolution 12-18, which would adopt the creation of 2 lots out of 1 existing lot.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Next is ordinance number O-9-18, rezone lot 1 of CSM, the western portion of 118 North Nash Street, R1 residential to C1 general commercial.
And this was the subject of the public hearing this evening. It is an ordinance that actually rezones the parcel. It's CSM blank because it's not given a number until the CSM's recorded. But the property owners asked for the rezoning, and you can have the rezoning. It's just the legal description will be Lot 1 of the CSM, but it's the western portion only, 118 North Nash. And the request is to rezone it from R1 residential to C1 general commercial. And this too has been reviewed and approved by the Planning and Zoning Commission at their August 9th meeting.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Next, we have ordinance number 0-10-18, rezone multiple downtown parcels from R1 residential, C1 general commercial, and L1 light industrial to D downtown zoning district.
Yeah, this is an ordinance that would rezone multiple parcels. The current zoning shown on the map, most of this is commercial. There is industrial, light industrial, and there is residential property. One of the residential properties would actually be the eastern portion of the CSM that you just created, which would be put into the downtown zoning district. We'll attach a map to the ordinance, and I have to apologize, we actually did create an individual parcel listing that had the parcel numbers and the street addresses for the parcels identified on the map, just to make sure everybody was clear exactly which parcels we were talking about. At the planning and zoning, there was two amendments. One was the eastern part of the park. It's kind of hard to tell on here. I think it was the kind of the eastern carve out of parcel 27, and then we added one other parcel on the west side into the downtown zoning district. So this would require adoption by the village board, and this was also approved, recommended for approval by the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Now, is all the red in here in the district that's in?
Well, the red is the current commercial, the yellow is residential, and tan is institutional, and the gray is the one lot that was light industrial.
So this is the one that's for the downtown?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, the next one has the actual, the tan parcels, or the parcels that'll be the new downtown zoning district.
Okay.
You should have one of those in your packet, I think, we just had extra ones.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Wait, go back, can I ask a question? I'll direct this to Julie, it looks like they're included in this, right?
I included, so I'm abstaining from this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Okay, the motion was made. You have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
Approved. Do you have any comments or suggestions? If not, we need a motion to go into closed session under state statute section 19.85 1C, consider employment of a public employee over which government body has jurisdiction, the possible candidates for village administrator.
I'll make a motion to go into closed session under state statute section 19.85, 1C.
I'll second that.
Roll call.
Aye.
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 I would like Nathan to stick